This gorgeous outfit that makes me feel Bohemian and Egyptian is actually by Sushmita from Nakshatra Design Studio, New Jersey. Thank you, Sushmita. Well, friends, welcome back to another brand new episode of United Voice of Women. This is Vani with you from the studios of Mana TV TV5. And today, again, bringing to you another gorgeous guest that is going to take us through another beautiful journey. So much to learn, so much to be inspired by, so much to be empowered by. And you know what? I'm sort of really wanting to rush in right into the show. You coming? Thank you so very much for tuning in to another brand new and beautiful episode of United Voice of Women. Of course, this is Vani with you from the studios of Mana TV TV5. UVW. And on to the women, a celebration of women, encouragement for women, and of course, inspiration by and for women only and only on TV5, Mana TV International. Well, friends, I just cannot not thank you enough. Mwah! Love you guys too much for making this platform ever so enriching for me. This has been like life-changing thing that happened to me in my life. I never ever thought that I would get into something so deep that this would actually begin to define me, and this has happened only because of you and this gorgeous platform that is actually wanting to invite women from all over the world, from every walk of life, from every culture, every community, every country even. Why? Because we have seen that every woman in her heart is absolutely the same, you know, and we always talk about knowledge is power. So we wanted to try and see how we women can empower ourselves by actually sharing knowledge, because each one of us through our lifetimes have become encyclopedias. Okay, everyone's experiences teaches you something different, and that is what makes you so unique. That's what makes you so special, and that's what makes you you. So when each one of us try to talk to each other about our journeys, you know what we do? We are actually sharing knowledge, sharing information that could enrich everybody else around us, and that itself is so very empowering. And today on this beautiful platform, once again, like I always say, I have come back with another amazing guest. All right, she is beautiful, she is dynamic, she is gorgeous, and what is best about her, she's smiling like sunshine all the time. All right, so without any further ado, let us put our hands together to welcome this gorgeous beauty, Subarna Bhattacharya. Here she is.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Vani.
Subarna Bhattacharya Sahani ji.
Right.
Welcome to United Voice of Women.
My pleasure, Vani. Thank you. What an honor. Thank you.
Usually I say the pleasure is all mine and honor is all mine, and I don't want to share it.
Well, I'll take it. I say the honor is mine too.
Wow, beautiful.
Thank you.
What a lovely outfit you're wearing. I love those colors. You know, they so become you. You like looking like summer paradise.
Oh, thank you. Very kind.
So
thank
it's
you.
beautiful.
Thank you so
now,
much.
Now tell me, beautiful girl, have you ever watched United Voice of Women?
I have actually. In fact, a couple of my friends have been here on your platform, and I have actually watched you, your shows and how you kind of interact with the women and how trying to bring together the voices of women, which is basically trying to see how immigrant women who have come here and how we have a united voice and we can actually with our own journeys, like as you rightly said, can share and can also kind of expand our horizons and we can always have a good network through this.
Exactly, that is another beautiful thing that I never thought of.
Yeah, so we can always network through this platform, and that's when how we can relate to each other and how we figure it out that some way or the other the journeys may be different, but somewhere we have a similar story there.
So true.
So yes, and to answer your question, I have watched and followed your show. Well, I'll be a little honest that not that I have watched it on a regular basis, but yes, I have indeed.
You have seen some episodes. So
some episodes.
I wanted to know, right? That what is your perspective when you're watching it? You know what happens, Subarna? I know, a part of Lions Club, and you've been doing a lot of stuff that I want to talk to you about and learn about it all.
Absolutely.
But as a woman at helm of things that's trying to help a lot of other people, I'm sure you have a better perspective on these things, all right? So I keep asking this question to everybody that comes and sits here on this table because I want to learn and understand if I'm able to translate what I am thinking in my mind. You know, a lot of times you have it all in your mind, but you don't know if you're actually being able to translate it. And, people are able to perceive what you're wanting to say.
True. I get that. Yes, I
hear you.
I hear you. Yes, I hear you.
And I'm trying to say that we women are being always very, very personal about our personal journeys.
True.
All right. There is some good, there is some bad.
Absolutely.
The good we don't talk thinking that maybe people would think we're pompous. The bad we don't want to talk because we ourselves want to forget it. So in some way I have a feeling we are trying to wipe out everything.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
And in this way, you're not able to get an opportunity to count your blessings, which I'm all about that.
Right.
I feel every moment I want to be able to count that blessing.
And be grateful.
And be happy.
Yes.
What can make you happier?
Right.
Whatever can make you happier.
True.
And of course, happy memories, happy feelings, happy thoughts.
That's right. Yeah.
Will make you happy. Nothing else will.
Absolutely.
Not that husband, not that child, not that job, not that anything is going to give it to you.
Yep, absolutely. And sometimes I feel that you have to, as women, as as part of a tribe, I think that we have to find our own happiness. And we have to look for our own happiness and things that what we love to do. And also to go for those things that we love to do and just follow through.
Correct.
Sometimes we have our dreams, but our journeys, take you to places where probably your dreams don't get fulfilled, or they get kind of stagnated, or they get stalled. They get stalled, not right?
Yeah. Sometimes stagnated too, when you completely leave it.
Yeah, because life plateaus, I guess, and then you see that, okay, where do I, begin again? Or sometimes, everyone has its own story, as I said earlier, that everyone has its own journey. So, some people, life may be harsh, so it can have a plateau and they don't know where to begin. For some, it could be
sometimes
just
Subarna,
boring.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to quickly say before I forget, because I do not want to leave a single opportunity to be able to hold it and explain it once again.
Yes.
Like when you said, sometimes it becomes boring, sometimes it becomes very difficult,
Correct.
etc. But a lot of times I feel we give up ourselves more than the and we
the circumstances
more on them, because they are something you're able to see.
Right.
You're not able to see what you are
capable of,
or what you are doing to yourself.
Right. And the drive. And I guess sometimes we are women, if you see there is always men are always self-driven. Women are not. Women, their life takes priority of, the paraphernalia of life, I would rightly say. The paraphernalia of life just takes over you, and you don't give priority to yourself, and you're not being able to drive yourself to the point that you want to go.
So beautifully put.
And
so beautifully put.
Oh, thank you.
Subarna, that makes a lot of sense what you're saying. And that is something nobody's maybe thinking too much.
Right.
Right? That just now when you said compared to men, women, yeah, we know all these things.
Right.
It's not as if we don't, but when somebody puts it in perspective again, it's a good reminder.
Right. I can share, I'm always about sharing. I can share my story. It's like, so.
Exactly, that's what we are here for.
Right.
girl.
So,
Yes.
as how we put our dreams into, like, I moved into this country because I followed my husband. He was always, since 2000, he was traveling here, and, I was settled in Mumbai, and I was very happy.
So we actually want to start from there, baby.
Yes.
Where were you born?
Okay.
Let's start from the beginning.
All right. So I was born in Lucknow, in heartland of India,
Okay.
as we call it, Nawabo ka Sheher,
Yes,
the city of
Nawabo ka
Nawabs.
Sheher.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And I am a Bengali, raised in a pure Brahmin family, but lived and born and lived and read all through in Uttar Pradesh.
Wow.
So
That's interesting.
my parents are still settled in Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow. So I am basically a Lucknowite at
Kya
heart,
baat hai.
at mind, body, and soul.
Everything
It's just
belongs-
that my language is Bangla. Beyond that,
yeah.
I'm basically an UPite.
That's awesome to know.
Right.
Wow. Okay. So how was it growing up?
Oh, I grew up in a traditional Bengali family, but with lot of music, culture, art was the center of everything. So I was raised. I am basically a younger. I have an older sibling who's 8 years older to me. He's my older brother.
So it's just the two of you.
Just the two of us,
Okay.
and my parents, who we lived in Lucknow all throughout, and we studied. We
Working
did our college.
parents?
My mom was a homemaker,
Okay.
and my dad was, of course, the
Okay,
primary.
okay.
He worked in. He decided to work in northern India all his life. So I was born in Lucknow. Then I moved to a city called Allahabad, another seat of learning. Very
Wow.
beautiful city, and that's where I had my initial kind of schooling, which was till about 7th grade, and then I again moved back to Lucknow and finished up my college schooling there.
Wow.
And after which I
So you
went
have to tell us more. So what kind of baby were you?
all right.
Naughty?
So I was actually.
I thought. I don't know why.
I was
Never
always
said that to anybody so far.
I was actually.
You have that mischievous thing in your eyes.
Really? Well, if you ask my mom, probably she'll say, "Oh, my son was really very easy to handle. My darling daughter was a difficult one growing up, and yes, I was, and
Tomboy kind?
it's somewhere in between. Not really a very tomboyish, but at the same time, I had all guy friends while growing up, so I loved to play cricket because actually I had an older sibling, so I always followed him. His friends coming, so he would teach me how to play cricket. And I remember, when I was, I think, in 5th grade, and I was trying to play cricket with somebody, another boy from, we lived in a colony, how we call it in India. So, and then some neighbor, I was playing with cricket, and he was teaching me, and I was bowling, your ball is not going, you have to short pitch the ball.
Oh my God! Okay, so you wanted to thick and thin.
As I grew up, and I always not too much into dolls and things like that. I was more into outdoor, loved outdoors a lot, and like just going in the evening and playing, and that's what I miss sometimes from my own children, like how we just went and played hide and seek and whatever, dog in the bone and and things like that. All the kids would get together and we just would run around and play hide and seek all throughout the colony, jumping from one wall to the other. I did all of that.
There you go. I caught you, didn't I? Not knowing nothing about you, I said that.
Yes.
You have that look in you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been like,
Awesome. That is tomboy, sweetheart. You can be a bigger tomboy
More
than
than that. So yes, well, that's
But
a,
you dressed girly, maybe. That's
maybe
what you
yeah,
mean.
that's what I meant. That
Yeah,
I was
maybe.
at heart I was a
Total
tomboy,
girl.
total yeah, you know.
Yeah. But you dressed up girly, girly.
Yeah, I
and-
dressed up in
because
skirts.
I see you.
Yeah,
you know, you love
I
dressing up,
Oh
girly,
yes,
girly.
I did.
Looking pretty. Yeah.
Looking
but
pretty.
be boyish.
But
Right?
boyish.
Tomboyish.
And also when I was
Awesome.
and I so as you were asking me, my parents were pretty liberal and they raised me as an equal.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
so I got an absolute equal opportunity as what my brother got.
Uh-huh.
Not an iota of difference in and
Girl or boy.
girl or boy or any such thing. So that's
Awesome.
so I had more fun. My brother, if you ask my brother, he'll and I'm sure when he watches this,
He's going to be watching it. Yes.
so he would say, she had more freedom than I had.
Now that is something to talk about.
Right. And I would always answer him by saying that, you have to take your freedom.
Oh my God.
Freedom is not given. You take your freedom.
That is awesome, girl. You know what?
So-
You knew things.
Back then.
Back then, you knew exactly what it takes.
Yes.
Do you know what a beautiful line that is?
Oh boy. Yes.
It is an amazing statement you made just now. You have to?
I have to.
What did you say?
You have the freedom is not given. You have to take your freedom.
You have to take your freedom. It's not given. You have no idea. You just said it casually,
Yeah.
maybe at that time, but maybe your thoughts.
Yeah.
We've matured enough, and this is a very big thing. I think
you.
we all need to understand that. We're chained,
Yes.
but
Yes.
not because somebody else has put those chains. Most of them are ours too.
But Vani, I would also add, this is also conditioning. This is how,
Correct.
as women, as our tribe, we have over the years, we have been conditioned in a such a way that, as growing up, lot of women don't have that kind of exposure.
But again, when you say women like us, okay, so women like us almost came with parents that were very liberal. I think.
Right.
All these
Right.
people that we see around us.
Exactly,
among us,
and because that's how we relate to.
yeah, that's why we relate to
them, that,
right?
but majority of them, there is a big group which is
that
not.
I understand. That I understand, but I'm trying to talk about just us,
Us
for
for
now,
now.
at least because us is a huge,
Absolutely.
crowd anyway.
Right,
We are out there,
right,
all right? Big
right.
tribe, like
Absolutely.
you're calling it. Yeah, I
Yes.
love that. All right, we're a huge tribe, just
True.
our generation,
True.
just our way of growing up. Okay, but so tell me, somebody like you could say that freedom is something that you need to
Take.
take.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I grew up exactly like that with my mom and dad. Never even tried to say anything different to me. But you know what? I never really understood that. You know why I'm saying it? Why I'm like, how should I say? There are some things that just pass you by. You don't realize a lot of things about your own self.
True.
So whatever I'm realizing, I want to actually enhance it with, a proper message behind it, so
True.
that you also will identify it if I go in detail about
Right.
it. If I just say it like a passing comment, it doesn't go, because
True.
it took me these many years.
It does, and I'll tell you, the self-discovery of women is at when she peaks at 30, late 30s and 40s is this
Maybe
very-
more of 40s. I
More,
would
more,
say.
yes, more of 40s.
I don't think 30s.
Even not.
30s
That's why I
is
said
just-
late 30s.
Yeah.
Post your 35, that's when you start
You're right.
kind of, reflecting on yourself,
Somehow
and
it
you're
happens.
and when you cross that 40 line,
You actually are finding yourself so much more.
True.
Why is that so?
I guess because that's the time when like I mentioned, how we have been conditioned. How much ever we've grown up in a liberal environment. At the end of the day, an Indian girl coming from an Indian background, wherever it is, parents still want them to have a career, but at the same time would like to see them settle down and have a family and things like that. And so women do get caught up in that, whether it's so like for myself, I got married late 20s, so it's not that I really got married like I was early 20s, or I was like, sent off. So I could choose my own person, and I could be with the person as long as I want to be, and then I got married. And so so I got married at 26 and a half maybe, so which is not too early as far as typical by Indian standard. And thereon I started when you see that everyone is expecting you have to have a family and things like that, and everyone gets caught up in that. So it's not just me, but I guess everyone at our age, all my friends I have seen, and who have had successful careers, who are wonderful students, but everyone has sailed in the same boat till we crossed that 40. And that's when the conversation started,
You're so right.
And the conversation is mostly towards reflecting on, from here now, what? Here now what? And
so true.
And now what we do. So we have raised a family, kids are almost like teenage, and then taking care of themselves. In a couple of years they'll be out of the house. About time, take control, and if you're not now, you'll never get that opportunity again.
So true.
So that's why 40 is like the enlightenment, it's like you sit like a bodhi tree and you get that enlightenment.
So true.
So it's like that when you cross that line, your perspective of life, because you've had those 10, 12 years of grueling time with with life in general.
Trying to figure it out.
Exactly. You don't know how to raise children. You were also marriage, everything. Which you don't know, and you were not really kind of ready for it as well. But then so we all try to figure it.
Mostly what happens is our marriages are definitely marriages where the man takes control.
Correct.
Usually.
Yes.
He guides you.
Right.
All right. You actually have to follow through. Most of the time. How much ever liberal you are.
Oh, yes.
You usually have to go through that way.
Oh, yes.
So it's a complete new home for us.
Yes.
A total territory. Total new territory.
Absolutely.
We have no idea, and it is very territorial.
Oh, you got that.
Right?
You got
new
that.
Territory.
Oh, yes.
Totally territorial.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
And you come from, from Timbuktu to US.
Yes.
Even that might be easier.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
But,
and from the kind of home that you come from, and you get into another place, and
Right.
it takes you time, and you get into it. And I think you're so right. See, all these things we know, but every time we reflect upon it, it gives us a beautiful perspective. Which makes it so much more easier to understand.
True.
Right?
True.
So the way you were putting it through, I'm like literally wanting to run through it in my mind.
Yes.
That's what's happening to me, and that's what I'm hoping happens to everybody that is actually listening to us.
Yes.
That's what I feel is the greatest thing about this platform.
True.
Because we're just two girls having a beautiful chat.
Yes.
And the best part is it's not just two of us benefiting from this conversation, but there are tons more because we have this camera in front of us.
Absolutely, and that's what I always feel is that each one of us has our own story, and each one of us can benefit from that story.
From everybody's stories.
Exactly.
So
you have your own story, I have mine, and so are the ones your viewers watching at home have their own story.
Exactly.
But there is a thread of commonality between us, and that binds us together.
Lot of threads, I would say.
A lot of threads, intertwined.
Intertwined. We've actually...
Right. They're there.
But that little thing that you said about freedom stuck in my head so much.
Right.
Because for some reason, it was not even as if I was not given freedom. Okay?
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, after marriage, I turned myself into somebody who thought should just follow.
Because
follow through. I think, again, upbringing.
Yes, conditioning. Because you're expected to. It is you're just expected to, because that's what it is. The man will be, if you are not like
almost your caretaker, you're in charge of your
exactly
your life.
The whole thing is that also that if there is a little economics into it as well.
True.
So
true.
Yeah, there's little economics.
Very big
Yes. So the economics is just a simple case of like if the man is the primary bread earner, of course, and if you're a supporting income, of course, all of those things matter too. So if you even if you're at it's just
actually even if you're in power with them, it's not
exactly.
No.
That's what I was coming to next, was that even if you are at par, it's still how we are conditioned.
Most of the way,
the way we are conditioned,
99.99% maybe.
Yes. So we give up. And we still follow through, and we follow, and we follow because we expect that is the man norm. That's the norm, and that's the man has to take charge, and man has to be successful. And if the success of marriage is also sometimes dependent on how successful the man is. And that's something which we kind of avoid to talk about.
You're so right, sweetheart.
We really
totally avoid it.
We avoid to talk about, but a lot of things depend.
Everything actually at the end of the day
depends on how successful the man is, and sometimes the woman has to kind of give up, her career or her dream or just
a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of things, of course, and just to be on the. Take a back seat maybe.
Yeah, there's no other go. You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice.
Literally.
Yes.
In the bestest of relationships.
Right.
For whatever reason. Everybody's conditioned. I think guys are conditioned that way too. They think that they are supposed to be the man of the family.
That's what conditioning is. Conditioning is not just about man,
woman.
It's just,
anybody, human being.
Exactly. How we are raised, and that's how boys are raised in our society.
That they are.
Well, they have to be. They have to have
done, right?
Yes.
Though we never realized it. Like I didn't even have a brother, so I thought that I'm the queen of the world. But still, though you grew up all your life like that, it doesn't matter. Once you get into this world.
And Vani, I've noticed that every strata of society is the same. It's every strata of the society. Even if you're,
up there or down there.
Yeah. I sometimes feel down there are better. But more forward and more open.
More open.
Yes.
They are able to talk their minds out.
Exactly. And women too have more, I feel they are more empowered than the middle class and the upper middle class.
True. We are wanting to show off.
Yes.
They are like to make a living.
Yes.
Right.
And so they
Survival.
They
right. They're right. Kamalis and all,
Yeah, exactly. They are more powerful than who we are. We cannot talk our minds. They can. They do it the way they want to do it, but we cannot. And sometimes it's just because we are supposedly the more cultured lot, right?
So true.
And that's how we are conditioned.
Suddenly I'm actually seeing images. Okay, a lot of images that I must have seen throughout my life but never really paid any attention to.
True.
Trust me, when you were talking, things were going in my mind. I was just thinking that, though the man is, beating her up, there are women that are beating them up back.
Exactly.
But only in that.
And the women leave, and women leave their husbands if they are being abused. But you'll find more abusive relationship in the middle class.
The CEOs.
Yes.
The women CEOs of India are going through it. So what can you talk about?
Exactly, without taking names.
Right? Exactly. Right? I mean, what else can you say? And it is sad.
Yes.
It is sad. It's really sad, Subarna.
Yes.
I don't know what we have to do with each other to help us rise above this self-contained self-chains. I know.
This is not a one day.
No, it's not.
It's not like you and I sit here and talk about it. It's something over the generation. Us doing it to our own children.
I do not want to die with the same ideas.
Exactly. So it has to be every generation will improve, but but still I feel that we as when we are parents now to our whether our boy or a girl, irrespective, we need to tell them and talk to them and give them our perspective at how we have been,
and it's not necessarily the bestest way.
Exactly.
I personally don't believe it.
No, true.
Right? You agree with me?
I agree with you.
A lot of women don't, Subarna, because it is still a matter of trying to say that this is our tradition. Tradition does not ask you to kill yourself.
Yes.
Just wearing the best outfits and going to parties and, making a salary doesn't begin to, make you feel
Yes, I
That
agree.
you're up there.
Absolutely,
You're
and
not.
that's what have an objection. I see there is. I mean, well, no. No one should take it
No
personally.
offense.
No
Yeah,
offense
yeah,
to
yeah,
anybody.
yeah.
But at the same time, I feel, wearing the best of clothes, carrying the Chanel bag or whatever it is, that doesn't change you
Yeah, as a person.
as a person inside or
And
up here
only
or
we know.
up here.
What are we here and here? Only we know.
Exactly.
Nobody else can know it.
And I have seen
I
that you
know.
have you
You're not
can be
putting
the
on a facade.
yeah,
You
that's a
and me, I
facade.
know that.
But inside you're still
There are so many things that I am absolutely useless at.
correct.
I'm not able to bring myself above it. I'm trying, and especially since I came on this table, it is sort of helping me with little
Little
things.
things, true.
Very little things, but I know that is a huge change for me.
True.
Personally, that's why I feel this has enriched me so very much. Every single day it's enriching. I can't say enriched.
Right.
Because every single day, a little thing that somebody says, I know pricks me, and I know that's where I'm going wrong.
Right.
That's where I can
Right.
get better. That's what I
Right.
need to do.
Right.
How?
Yes.
But you know what? We all need to start talking about, simple things like the other day, the way you talked about kids just now. I asked this question more than a couple of times to various guests here with me, saying that, what? I am the way you were repeatedly talking about conditioning. So though our kids here, they have a different world outside our homes.
Oh, you
Right?
asked me, yes.
Yeah, they have a different world outside their
I
homes.
agree. I keep talking about it.
That's wonderful. Because I find that to be the most important thing to be talked about, right? And in the house, there is completely a different world that
True.
we live in, all right?
Yes.
Mom is very, very fashion forward. Mom is out there everywhere. But what is she with daddy?
Orthodox.
With the dad. Okay,
Yes.
when it is the dad and the mom, where is mom? Okay, I would say nowhere.
Nowhere. True. Yep.
A lot of us say that no, my husband lets me buy whatever.
Oh,
that doesn't mean
anything. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is the psychology.
True.
Basically, you're never allowed to. It's not against
You've
any
just
man.
taken my thoughts, and this is what I have been talking to a lot of my friends and women here, and I've been trying to propagate this idea that wearing the best of clothes, or I work with youth, and somewhere I realized that my son is also of the same age. I kind of try to relate myself with this age group, and since I've been through that age, and I was a very person of my own, I had my own mind, and at 15 years,
amazing.
and I was my own person. I had my own friend circle. I did a lot of things. I just feel that my son, if he sees this, he'll know that I feel that I was much more adventurous than he is at this point in time. Not that I'm trying to stop him, but
Yeah.
the way the society or his friend circle is, and everyone is almost like very protected and very, very, very.
A lot of parents are doing that.
Exactly, they live trying to protect their children from whatever it is, the I would say the whatever of the Western world, or the sins of the Western world, maybe.
Very well said. And I don't know why.
Yeah, the sins of the Western
Why are
world.
we here?
Why are we here?
We hate it so
So
much.
much.
We have to protect ourselves so much.
Exactly.
How did we become so liberated?
Right, and but I know for a fact that I've spoken to a lot of teachers, counselors in the school district and around, and friends who work in the school system. I have my family who has my extended family who lives here. They work in the school districts in different parts of US, and they're teachers, high schoolers basically. And they tell me kids live especially Asian kids, they live a dual life,
They do. Yes.
and they have
Even
a
an onlooker can see
yes. So they have a life which is inside their house, which is basically what their parents expect of them, whether it's their academics
yeah,
or whatever,
totally.
sports or extracurricular,
Everything.
everything. And the moment they step out, whether they take a bus to school or they, even if they
Yes,
drive
yes.
to themselves
Yes,
to
yeah,
school
yeah,
or
yeah.
however,
Their life is different.
the moment they enter the school and the door shuts,
Yes.
Oh,
It's
the
a
life,
different
it's a
world.
different world
It's a
altogether.
different world.
They lead the life they want to, and they do things which probably parents don't have
Any clue about.
any clue about,
Which
and
they'll refuse to believe.
which they refuse to believe. which they refuse,
Yes.
which they
Yes.
refuse to believe.
Yes.
But that's what it is. That's why I think the terminology A, B, C, D, how the generation,
It makes sense.
the previous generations have been called,
Exactly.
and I guess that's the reason
Why?
Why?
Very true. Wow. Thank you for talking about it, Subarna.
Yes.
A lot of people, they shy away from talking the reality for some reason. Everything is not hunky-dory, sweetheart.
Nope.
And I feel that our parents were so much more liberal than we are to our kids today. Do
I
you
agree
with that?
Absolutely, I agree. And
God
because
bless you.
I agree.
Because I've been sounding like a
No.
bad person here, but I don't mind it.
Yes.
Because the whole idea is wanting to be able to say what I see,
Exactly.
what I believe, what I understand.
True,
You
true.
don't necessarily have to agree with me, but at least if you give it a thought, I'll be very happy about it.
Absolutely. I think I was raised more liberally than what children are being raised here today. And I have done things which probably, the kids have they think that, they're doing it now. But I have done 20, 30 years back. I mean, we were kids, we
see
were
what you
teenagers,
mean.
and
even if I didn't do anything, Subarna, what I'm saying is I was never stopped for anything.
Exactly. It was your choice.
It was me.
It was your choice.
It
yes.
was my choice. So isn't that amazing?
Absolutely.
That I remained very innocent. Okay, but it was my choice.
Correct.
Not that they didn't give me the entire field to go and play on.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So
yes.
I feel we were I was raised so liberally compared to what I see today. Even my sister raising her kids. She came from the same house.
Yes, I agree.
She came from the same house, but I feel that she is not liberal at all. But she won't accept it. She's hearing me say this on national TV a million times, national, international TV, global TV, million times. And she's getting upset with me, but why I'm saying, because, if I talk about my family, you understand that it's not as if I'm trying to
put anyone down, or it's just putting
it's
a
us.
finger to
It's us.
it's
It's
all
us.
of us,
It's all of us. It's all of us. And and I keep talking about this to every woman. Why are you stressing about your kids' education so
right,
much?
right.
They're in a world where the world is at their fingertips. They have already acquired knowledge by the time they were 5 that you have acquired now. I feel
True, and they're more aware, matured, and
they live in a real world out
True.
there, unlike us.
Yeah, we didn't have that exposure at all. We just were exposed newspaper. Is that was our exposure, and then
I never bothered to read the newspaper either. So I was nowhere.
and then came Doordarshan.
Exactly.
We are Doordarshan era kids,
Okay.
and that's the limited exposure. Krishi Darshan.
Exactly, and Chitrahar.
And
was the biggest entertainment ever. Now, Chitrahar I can never forget.
Oh yes, Wednesday
8 o'clock.
and Friday 8 o'clock.
And Friday 8 o'clock.
Oh
See,
yes,
we can't forget that.
We can forget
Right?
ever.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that why are we becoming so? What is the word? Micromanaging the kids' life.
Right,
And we are saying that
and
we are
helicopter moms.
Helicopter moms. Yeah, a lot of people have said that too. Yeah, these helicopter moms.
Yes.
Why? How did we turn into this, Subarna? What do you think?
It's because I guess what I personally feel is that the world is competitive. It was always competitive, but the more aware we are, we have become more. We've got more information. It's flowing. Yeah, the information dissemination is so easy now that it comes on your fingertips, and you're always reading or watching, and then I would say also the peer pressure, social media has taken over our lives a lot. So parents also have kind of are under peer pressure. Not just our children, but I think even us are under peer pressure of is my child doing better than the other, or there's sort of competition going on.
I want to understand that from you. How would you want to define this peer pressure? Because I just can't get it ever.
This
what
is human.
Is this peer pressure?
It is man-made. It is It is made by us.
Our parents also had it, I'm sure.
I'm
I
sure.
mean, and at that time there was a little more of, I would hear my friends say that, my mom was saying that, see, that particular person is always being able to get A's, why you are not able to. So they would even do the comparison and talk about it. I know that all happened too, right? So it has always been there.
True.
Okay? And we turned out to be fantastic. Right, the way we grew up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We absorbed it nice and good, and we
we're
kind
doing
of
extremely well.
exactly
All of us.
All of us.
So what is the fear that the kids will not do well? What
Well,
about? Why?
just that the whole gamut of my child better than the other, or the idea of like I want to supersede
Everybody has to be a Sundar Pichaiya or
or
Nadella
or
nobody
Nadella.
else, or nobody else is human being at all.
That's true, and somewhere that's where it is all a driving force. That's what I say. It's all human,
It's
made.
not
It's made.
human. I'm thinking it's just our generation, our community. I don't see that in the rest of the world like that, I would say.
Oh, well, no, I would disagree with you on that one.
Yeah?
Maybe Chinese.
Chinese, yeah. The minute I would, right after I said this, I saw that. But you know what? We are very similar.
I would say
Yeah,
any
yeah.
Asian community, South Asian community, whether you go from coming down from South Korea to all this part.
But we are the largest country,
Cut-
all right?
yeah,
and we
yeah.
are the largest population
Here-
spread everywhere.
Exactly.
So I'm just wanting to.
So the
think-
point is that because I think when as if I might say, in India there is of course the competition is a different level. Even if you're a good student, getting into a good college is such a big deal. It's not really it's a hard deal right now, because even if it 98% in Delhi University is not enough for you
No.
to get into a good course.
Even here things are like that.
Even here things are like that.
everywhere because
Exact-
of us.
Yeah, because of us.
Because we have made everybody 100% student. Then
True.
what happens?
And then
If they are 1,000 people who got 100 on 100,
True.
then there's no place for 99.
no place for 99, and the sad part is that we're not telling our children. We are still stuck up with that idea
Of
of
199.
199. Also, that if you are not into a STEM curriculum,
There is life out there, please.
yes, so
Huge.
huge
world
If
out
you are
there.
not in a STEM curriculum, you are no one in life, and you would be nothing in
What
life.
is this?
And
I
that is the saddest, and that is what creates the pressure for everybody. There are kids who probably would do well in some other field,
correct.
but they never get a chance. At the end of the day, when I talk to children, they're all mostly are Indian kids, teenagers and Indian kids. And at the end of the day, everyone is again coming back to either medical sciences or computer sciences.
Another
Oh
world.
boy, I'm still kind of,
Yes.
and I'm not that kind of a person. I think
God bless you.
Yeah,
I mean, even our
you
parents
need
were
to-
not that much, though I know everybody around me were trying to become engineers and doctors, okay, but I know some of
But
my
things
friends
in
became
India have
teachers.
changed a little bit,
But not us.
But not here. Here we have carried the same. We are like a
Much more.
Yeah, we are still, we're trying to. The best jobs are only in the field of, either you become you'll earn good money if you become a medical professional, or you become, get into.
And you know what?
IT.
I've actually seen my nephew, one of my nephew, and some of his friends. They are actually looking at jobs that pays the highest.
True. Yes, that's another theory. That's which subjects to
So
take.
what else is it? Now
Yes.
we are only driving the kids,
right.
all right, to do this or that.
Yes.
So now what he's deciding between, he loves technology and he loves the healthcare industry. He's in high school right now. I mean, such a small kid, right?
Right. Yeah. Young.
16,
Very young.
okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this boy is looking at what is the highest paid profession, where will he really fetch the most, and so he thinks that maybe if he combines his healthcare passion with technology, then he would be able to invent something, and then he's going to be up there. It is very nice to see that kid is so ambitious and so good, but again I'm thinking maybe for him that is what he always liked.
True.
Again, I know
True.
that right from when he was little, I
Right.
saw him like that.
Right. Right.
He was like that. But but not all kids are.
Right.
And I'm thinking this kind of looking into, what will pay you the best is the way to go, etc. I don't know. I feel very stifled sometimes,
Yes.
Subarna. Maybe because I'm not busy in that way because I don't have kids. So when you have your own kids, you're still so busy with them that it won't really matter that much to you
Right. Right.
comparatively. Because
Right.
you're so involved in your daily routines, but you still are thinking, which is a
Yes.
rarity.
Because
and you know that
it's
too,
a
right?
struggle, because do you would want to push your child to to the fields which which are high paying, or which you want them to follow their heart
Their aptitude.
or aptitude?
Right, aptitude.
So
and
some
heart.
kids have their heart in some maybe in writing or painting or whatever, fine arts or any media.
And is it really so important that they have to decide it right now?
Exactly, absolutely.
Why is it so important, Subarna?
It is not important, and that's what parents fail to understand. And I see it that they think that each year I'm of the opinion that kids should be at this age should be having fun and trying to enjoy their life. Just make the best.
Say that again, please, Subarna. Say that again.
This is the time which will never ever come back for any teenager. This is the time to live your life. This is the time to make friends,
Just be a
explore.
kid.
Just be a teenager.
a child or a teenager
Yeah,
or
just-
whatever.
yeah.
Let the babies be.
Exactly. You don't. I mean, they need to explore their own self. This is a very difficult phase for them. Also, they kind of discover themselves, their passions. They have their own. They're discovering their
Or do
own.
nothing, man, and enjoy.
Exactly. And
I did
sometimes you have
that.
to let go and
I did
enjoy, and that's what it
I
is.
did that, and I feel.
Me too. Me too.
You're right. I
yes,
did that.
I did
and
that.
today. That's why I don't feel the lack of anything personally in my heart.
Vani,
in
you will
my
also, that's why you don't feel any regret that I did not do this.
Nothing.
And then you don't feel like, at this age, I need to prove myself or do something crazy or anything go wild or anything like that.
cool.
Oh, yes.
All
Because you've been there, done
lived.
that, and you
I
lived. I
just
lived.
the way I wanted
Exactly.
to, whatever I wanted
Exactly.
to. My parents said, "You do whatever. We know."
And we
that
trust
you
you.
can do anything.
Exactly.
All right. You want to do anything, we are with you.
True.
That's about it. Tell me
Right.
which college do you want to go to is all my dad asked me.
True.
I'll come and pay the fees, beta.
And,
you decide where you want to go.
And Vani, in my case, I was like, my parents said, okay, what you want to choose, which direction. I wanted to go into hotel industry. I got through IHM.
I actually wrote a hotel management test.
So I got
Okay.
through. I always wanted to. I found it very glamorous.
Me too,
Yeah,
me
because
too.
it's like
Yeah.
So I filled in my form. I got through, and but I wanted to leave home and be in Delhi.
My mommy did not allow me to do that.
And
she was not ready.
What I did in my in my form was that I did not filled up. There was a hotel management institute, so you get your domicile quota, right? So every state has its own.
Even I didn't do. Oh my God.
Because I so didn't want to live in Lucknow.
I didn't even think about all that. It just happened that I went to Hyderabad and wrote this exam, and my dad took me there. All right. And I got back.
I wrote in Delhi.
Oh my God. And then, they said no, and by that time, marriage,
Yeah.
and all that was happening. There was this guy who wanted to marry only me, and he goes to my parents and starts talking to them about it, etc. And I was not as if like dying to do it anyway.
Right,
it was just a thought that, okay, what would I like to do? Maybe hotel management. Let me see if I get
There was something which was very intriguing and very
Intriguing.
interesting
Exactly.
and different,
Different.
because everyone was trying to do medicine, and I
So
didn't
true.
want to do medicine either because I never took science in my
Me too,
plus two.
me too.
So, and then, I got through the test, but then interview was
Exactly.
like, because
I didn't even go for the interview.
I went for the interview, and
Okay.
my interview went well, but I only filled Delhi, and at that time I didn't take guidance from anybody. My parents were like, "Oh, do whatever you feel like." They were so
sweet.
yeah,
Exactly.
and I had to deal
I
with all
miss
of
that. I don't see that around me.
So they were not helicopter parents, but then at the same time,
And that faith actually keeps you more grounded.
So, but
You know, when you know that, oh my God, my mom believes in me. Let me
Right.
not do this.
Yes.
Okay? It is
Yes.
not something mommy would like.
Right.
Wouldn't even go and
Yes,
ask her that I want to do a night out or a
Right.
sleepover. I
Abs-
didn't.
yes.
Simply because I know mommy won't like it, even I don't care.
Yeah, right.
That's
Because that's
about
how,
it.
that's about it.
Didn't even go and ask and wait for them to say yes or no. I
Right.
know, okay, few things.
Yeah, that's your line, and that's her. You know,
That's it. My mom, actually, now it's so nice to remember these things.
Yeah.
You know, my mom my mom only told me one thing: not to sit on a bike or a scooter with any guy. She told me, because I had all boyfriends, a lot of guys.
Yeah.
All right, boys were there. They would all come home and great friends and everything. They love my parents even till date and all that. But she told me not to sit on a bike or a scooter. All right, and she said also never to be alone with any boy outside the house. Okay?
You're more welcome to do it inside the house.
Okay, if your friends are coming to
Right.
meet you at home, I have no problem.
Right. True.
Okay, but I don't want you to be alone anywhere. Only these two things, okay? And you know what? So, jab college mein gaye, all the friends and everybody used to have girls, boys, everybody used to sit down together
Right.
with everybody.
Right.
And मैं बैठती थी, but सिर्फ मम्मी ने बोला कि not to go on the bike or a scooter. Do you know what I used to do? I was the only one who used to sit in an auto.
Oh.
So both sides, all guys and girls are on the scooters and the bikes.
And you were
So
just
there
sitting
used
in
to
a-
say, Vani Auto Rani, going with her entourage, you know, because everywhere.
That's
the whole
cool.
group is around me. And I was
So you're the
in an
queen,
auto.
huh?
I was called Vani Auto ki Rani. Not that my mom would have seen me. She wouldn't have been, right? Because
But you didn't want
because
you
you
didn't
know,
want
it
to
just
lose her
gets into your
trust.
head, because that's the only thing she told me not to do.
True.
And how difficult was it is what I feel. And I feel because of the kind of upbringing, I didn't want to do any wrong
Right.
ever.
And that's what exactly I mean, because you just said those lines. You know what? I was trying. I just left my son the other day, actually on Sunday, for a pre-college program, you know, and I was leaving him there, and he was the youngest in the lot. You know, there were 10 kids, and he would be staying for 2 weeks residential program. So I was like, you know, you have all seniors, so they will be doing a lot of things which probably
You're not doing it.
you may not want to do it,
Yes,
and
yes.
I think you have to make the right choice, and this is now it's your time to make those choices. And be careful. And I was trying, so he said, Mom, you raised me right, so
How beautiful is that?
so Mom, you raised me right, so don't worry about it. So I think
That
you should
feels
trust
great,
yourself.
Subarna.
So I was like,
should trust
I
your
shut
child.
up, absolutely.
No,
I said,
but you must have just casually said it anyway.
yes, I was just trying to be protective, and just to be a mom, and trying to say that, you know,
उतना तो बोलना पड़ेगा, Subarna. It's
हाँ,
okay.
it's
What
okay,
I'm
right?
saying
So-
is, yeah, see, even for that, you're thinking like that.
because I thought that he should know. Sometimes, you know, you do things. You're unaware, and you just get into some kind of you know, because you are only 15, and there are kids who are 17 and 18, and they would be wanting to do things which
Correct,
probably
correct.
are not good for you. But
Good
if you're
for you.
hanging out with them, you need
It
to
might-
know.
yeah.
It might.
Where are your boundaries?
You'd have to know your boundaries.
You know, that much you will have to. I understand that, but that is so beautiful that, you know, you could say that, and the way he responded
Yes.
back says it all.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't have to say you don't have to say anything else about what you did.
Yes.
You know, what he said.
That's what
says
that
it
exactly.
all.
He says that's the faith that, and I just shut up. I said,
do
no.
you believe me if I say, do you agree with me if I say that somehow none of our peers are actually showing that faith in the kids? They're always thinking that every step of the way they have to be in charge. They keep thinking and saying that they are leaving their kids, but they are latching on to them at every step.
There's a lot of pretense
what
there.
What I see, because I do not have kids, so I see that around me.
There's a lot of pretense out there.
Why is that?
Again,
Why are we so unsure of ourselves? Are we actually having issues with our own selves? Because what else can make you do something?
it's not everybody. I would say that everyone. You know, it's again. It. You know, it's all goes back again to the same philosophy, and same thought process that you have been raised with. And it, you know what, I've realized one thing, like somewhere there are things which my mom did not, I did not like my mom kind of, nagging me or things. But sometimes I feel that even you, because you've been raised, when I'm talking to my son, I'm doing exactly the same thing that my mom used to do to me, and I used to hate it at that point in time, and I said, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing.
Exactly.
This is not what I want to do, because this is what I didn't like. So, every step of the way, you have to teach yourselves that, are you the same? You don't want to be the parent that your parent was to you.
Correct.
So
if you felt it was wrong,
whether you like, sometimes you dislike things. Maybe it's not right or wrong.
Dislike. Correct.
Yeah, it's not right or wrong.
Personally dislike.
Personally dislike things.
Totally get it.
So I guess if I was a teenager and I personally disliked something, I'm sure this generation would dislike it more.
Exactly. That kind of minimum common sense is all we need, right?
All we need.
But I'm actually very surprised, like what you said. And again, I'll talk about my sister. She must be hating me. All right, but why I'm doing this is that it's just personality. I don't love her any less. I understand her insecurities. She's having insecurities.
Right.
I feel it. All right. She won't agree to it.
Right.
But I feel it. Okay, let's put it that way.
True.
Because she's definitely going to be watching me, and I better say it right, okay? Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that my mom was never at all nagger. She never nagged. I mean, she was not that kind of a mom at all, okay? And she was not somebody that she befriended us.
Right.
I see that, I always think of her as my friend. I think of my dad as my friend. The first time some guy, a neighbor, when maybe I was in high school, maybe he just asked me, would you want to come for a date? He was a senior, very senior. And he just asked me that would you come for a date? And I went to my dad, and I was very upset. And I said, you know what, somebody asked me for a date, why did he do that? I'm very upset and all that. And you know what my dad asked me? He said, so what do you think is the meaning of date? I said, it's bad. He said, okay, bad or good, we'll talk about it later.
But what does it mean?
What does it mean? What do you think he's asking you? Okay.
True.
I said that maybe he wants to go alone out with me. Okay. So he said, okay. So that's what it is, right? So he said, my dad is telling me at that time, all right, he's telling me that, okay, so if that's what it is, he just asked you, all right, so it's up to you. If you want to go or you do not want to go.
True.
I don't see any reason for you to get upset.
Yes.
I don't see any reason for you to think that he's a bad person.
Right.
He just likes you. He wants to go out with you.
True. Very nice.
Just imagine, my dad told me this when I was in high school.
Very nice. Amazing. Yes.
So I don't see that happening around me.
Yeah.
I don't. And one of my friends, the bestest friends, this guy friend that I have, I always talk about him too, Vinod. He tells me, Vani, I wish I can be like your dad to my daughters, but I am not able to be.
Yes.
So I don't get it.
Yes.
Why?
That's true. And I guess, again, the same thing is, either they will be very scared. The world is, of course, more dangerous today. But at the same time, Vani, I'll say, because it was always dangerous.
Yes, you're right.
It was always dangerous. Things did happen. Bad things always happen. And it happened at that point in time. I remember I was only 10 years old. I used to go to a dance school. And I remember my mom letting me go by. And I, at this day and time, if you talk about Uttar Pradesh or Bihar, people have this cynical view of Bihar. And it's like a hood. And I lived in UP. Can you imagine? All my life, and I'm in a significant part of my life, which is basically the grooming years. I was raised in a city in Allahabad, which is not really a very safest place to be.
Totally.
But I used to walk about 2.5 kilometers to get to my dance school all by myself, and that 2.5 kilometers is like a big road, which is like a very busy road. It's not like, it's through the your colony area or something. It's like a pretty much a highway, and I used to walk myself.
How old were you? 10?
I was 10. I was 10. Can you imagine? I used to go by myself. I was in the 5th grade. I still remember because in 6th, by the end of 6th grade, I moved to Lucknow back again. And between I used to walk by myself. And I used to come, and then I remember there was a chart guy. I used to take money from my mom that I will stand on the road and have chart, and I used to. So can you imagine? I did that, and
at that age.
At that time.
At that time, at that age.
At that age.
Faith, huh?
Faith.
What is it?
And also the faith, and there were no cell phones.
दुनिया बुरी है, they are not thinking at that time. पर अभी सोचते हैं. Is that
अभी
what it is?
दुनिया तब भी बुरी थी.
थी, आपसे
दुनिया
ज़्यादा थी.
सेल
फोन नहीं थे,
सेल फोन नहीं थे,
कुछ भी नहीं
हाँ,
था.
फोन नहीं था, लेकिन still I walked. And I came back safe. Nothing happened. Nobody.
Exactly.
When you live in UP, you're used to that. Kind of you're staring and name calling and people following. And if you're a little girl, you're girl with little approach, good looking, you still everybody gets. Yeah. So you have your own followers and things like that. All of that happened, but still
you were fine.
I was fine, and I feel kids are still fine.
Exactly.
They will be fine if we let them be fine, or if we tell them to have their safety measures. We'd love to know what are your safety measures. And if you keep them in your safety box,
they will never know.
They will never know. You have to let go, and you have to have faith and trust in the world outside. You cannot live in a small cocoon of your own safety,
thinking that
nothing's good outside. You need to the world,
because
it was
if not today, tomorrow these kids will have to live in that same world.
Absolutely, they have to face the real world.
Yes, don't be wow, very beautifully put.
So
don't shelter them like
don't
that.
Shelter them, don't put them in a cocoon, then don't make them feel like this is your safety net, and the moment you
and there is a lot of problems actually. That is the truth. You put a very good point up there. I grew up in colonies because my daddy's company always had these.
I understand.
You have your own bungalows and safe gated
communities
thing that they call right now.
Right. All government colonies were
gated. Exactly. So that's how I lived.
Right.
So everything was gated. Only people that lived there were all that worked with my dad in that same company down there.
Yes.
Okay, I grew like that. So with all my freedom, I still lived only there. Right. Okay, so when I stepped out, after I got married and came out, it was not just marriage. Everything, like even little thing, because in the city it's different.
True.
Life is different.
True.
I never could really get on with it.
Right.
So I tried to hold on to my husband's hand.
Right.
Because I thought it felt new.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And what happened? That became the norm.
Right.
For too long. And then today I want to actually let go of the hand and want to be able to do something. The reality is, just talking to you, I understood right now that maybe the problem is not completely that he is not letting me. The problem is I gave him my hand all those years ago, and he thinks he has to hold on to it. And even now, every single thing he has to hold on to my hand.
True.
And now I'm thinking I want to go, and then I look like a teenager. To him,
Yeah, and who just wants to rebel.
He's calling me that sometimes. He's saying, you're turning into a 13-year-old rebel.
Yes, you're
rebelling.
And
I just realized all this, some perspective I got when you were saying what you're saying.
Yes.
This is what happens when the kid is not allowed to grow in the real world.
Yes.
Lot of problems.
Lot of problems. And it is important that we also make them believe they are their future generation, that the world is not that bad.
It will never be that bad, every time
though the things are happening which are not really, especially in this country with mental health issues and things that we are facing here, and the kind of gun violence that we see. Yes, we obviously have to be cautious, but then at the same time we need to have that communication open with our children and have to identify that it could be our own child sometimes,
Yeah.
And you need to kind of always be prepared and always be able to talk about it, and always be able to kind of look into your own child's eyes and see, oh, is everything okay, and can have a conversation sitting down, saying, not assuming that everything is fine and is in his or her world.
So true.
So that
true,
conversation has to happen, and that conversation is very much needed, that in our daily lives, that things were always bad, but at the same time, are you okay?
Yes.
And how do you feel, and what
and
is
for
going
that you have to have that friendship with them.
Right, you have to have the bonding, you have to create, you have to understand. Sometimes the child may not be able
wanting to say it
only because they
they might even,
because they feel that my parent won't understand me. Most of the cases that I have worked with and I've seen, the kids feel that my mom won't understand, my dad won't,
My God. It is the scariest thing to happen to this
I've had
world.
really
I
fun
would say.
conversations with the young teenagers, and they're wonderful lot. They're a very intelligent lot that's growing up, but at the same time, our generation needs to understand them in a better way, and sometimes we are just not there, and we don't understand them as we are supposed to understand them, and think through their eyes and look through their eyes what they are looking at. We are still time bound and time stamped when we left India, and our traditions and our culture, and in the name of culture, I would say,
well put.
And in the name of culture, we try to put a lot of enclosures, which doesn't work, and which leads to a lot of pretending and
I know.
and a lot of pretenses.
Right now I'm actually lost in your eyes.
Oh my God.
You know what? I see the pain in your eyes, actually, that you feel for the kids around. I don't know
what
it is.
Yes,
I think
do.
I see that in your eyes.
I do. I genuinely feel. I do. Because
otherwise
feel
you can't speak the way you're speaking.
I genuinely feel that we still don't understand our children that well, the way we should. And
I totally believe in it, but I never had anybody to back me up on that, because number one, people think I don't have kids, so I wouldn't know better.
No, that's
Do
not
you know,
true.
Subarna?
Yes,
which is sad.
Yes.
But I know for myself that because I have observed everybody, I know so much more.
True.
Because I have the aerial view.
Exactly. You have the top view.
Yeah, top view. So
exactly.
I see all the angles, all the
And sometimes
aspects.
you have to step back to have the better view.
But people are not looking.
The other day I was telling this about having a, when you're, I was talking to a colleague of mine and in Lions, and I was saying, sometimes when you're at the front, when you're at the helm of things, you are blinded. And you don't see because there are people or circumstances or environment around you, but when you're at the back, you're even one step back, you'll be able to see through the through the tunnel, and see through what's gonna happen, whether the person at the helm gonna hit a head block, or is there a wall there.
Wow. Yes.
But it's always from when you step back.
You can see it better.
You can see it better what's coming through. So, but when you're in the front, the leader always takes the blunt, and that's how things happen. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God! I wish I could talk to. I can't actually think that this is the end, because I didn't even get to so many things.
Yes,
I'm telling you. There are a million things that I wanted to talk to you about, Subarna.
We'll have another episode then.
I think we should. We absolutely should. But we totally
we'll host a show together.
We should.
Right?
We should.
All right.
I mean, this was an honor.
Oh my
Absolutely
God.
an honor. Okay, you are a woman with so much of strength, so much of empathy, so much of understanding. Your level of very, very, very elevated soul. You're beautiful.
Very kind. You're very kind. No, thank you.
Beautiful.
It was absolutely an honor talking to you, Vani. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you.
Wow. You know what about your Lions Club and your initiatives? I think I'd like to be a part of these things. please.
Please, you're most welcome
because,
to
you know,
join.
when I was talking, I thought you were talking my language and better, you know, and I would like to learn more because I have an empathy for kids.
Absolutely, you're
For
very
this
compassionate.
generation
Yes.
kids, my heart's actually going
Right,
out to all of
right,
them.
right.
You know, so I feel maybe, you know, I don't have kids, so I'm not just a mother for 1 or 2 kids. I can actually be a mother to a lot of
And
more
Lions
kids.
just don't do like I also lead the club here in Edison, and I'm the president of the club in Edison. I also have a district role, which I also am the global leadership training coordinator for district and the Lions 16J. So there are lots of things that we do here,
right?
and then avenues for you to get involved in.
Please.
Please.
See where I fit, what I can do.
Absolutely.
And I'd be more than happy to join this team,
Absolutely.
Subarna.
Please.
You're
always welcome.
You have
Nani.
inspired me to another level today.
You
know, thank you.
You've been kind. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Alrighty. Oh my God, friends, this was really, really, really soul touching. You know, it was beautiful conversation with you, Subarna.
Thank you.
Keep smiling and be beautiful always. I think the world needs people like you.
Oh, my pleasure.
And you're in the right place. You're in the right place, and I'd love to assist you, you know, in your various initiatives.
Please.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so very much for keeping it right here. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I actually know you did. All right. These are so important questions we asked ourselves once again, like we always do, and we had lots of fun too. So I promise next week when I come back, that'll be another beautiful, gorgeous, amazing guest. But till then, you want to take care of yourself, be good, keep smiling, and always remember how much I love you.